With a top speed of 125 miles per hour, this speed demon was setting records before most of our grandparents could drive. But that's just the beginning. We've got 8 vintage vehicles that'll make your jaw drop faster than their 0-60 times. Number 8. The 1947 Healey Elliott. Ever wonder what a 110 mph car looked like in the 1940s? Picture this, it's 1947, and most cars are huffing and puffing to hit 70 mph. But there's a new kid on the block that's about to leave everyone in the dust. Enter the Healey Elliott, a British speed demon that's not just fast, it's a game changer. This sleek beauty was turning heads with its aerodynamic design long before it became a trend. The Elliott's smooth, flowing lines weren't just for show, they helped it slice through the air like a hot knife through butter. Under the hood, a 2.4-liter Riley engine was purring, ready to unleash its 104 horsepower. That might not sound like much today, but back then, it was like strapping a rocket to your car. The Elliott wasn't just about raw speed, though. It was a glimpse into the future of sports cars. Its lightweight body and advanced suspension system gave it handling that was years ahead of its time. Drivers could take corners with confidence, feeling every curve of the road. Number 7. The 1948 Tucker Torpedo. From racing corners to redefining safety, we're shifting gears to a car that could save your life. Ever heard of a vehicle with a windshield that pops out during a crash? In 1948, one visionary dared to challenge the entire auto industry with ideas so radical, they're still turning heads today. That man was Preston Tucker, and his creation, the Tucker Torpedo. Picture this, you're cruising down the road in your Torpedo, and as you turn the steering wheel, a third headlight swivels with it, illuminating your path around corners. It sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi flick, right? But that's just the beginning of Tucker's revolutionary design. The Torpedo wasn't just about looking cool, though it certainly did that too. Tucker was obsessed with safety, and he packed his car with features that were decades ahead of their time. A padded dashboard? Check. A windshield that pops out during a crash? You bet. These might seem like no-brainers today, but back in the 40s, they were mind-blowing innovations. But wait, there's more. The Torpedo's engine wasn't in the front like most cars, it was in the back, based on a helicopter power unit of all things. And get this, the car had a drag coefficient of 0.27, making it slicker than a greased pig at the county fair. No wonder it could outrun most of its contemporaries. Number 6. The 1949 Talbot Lago T26 Grand Sport. Ever wondered what happens when you mix French artistry with raw American muscle? Well, folks, let me introduce you to the 1949 Talbot Lago T26 Grand Sport, a car that's part sculpture, part speed demon. This beauty could give modern supercars a run for their money. The T26 Grand Sport wasn't just about looks, though. Under its sculpted hood lurked a 4.5-liter inline-6 engine that pumped out a whopping 190 horsepower. That's right, back when most cars were struggling to hit highway speeds, this French masterpiece was leaving them in the dust. But what really set the T26 apart was its stunning coachwork. Each car was custom-built by renowned French designers, turning heads wherever it went. Imagine cruising down the Champs-Élysées in one of these babies. You'd be the talk of the town. And boy, could this car race. The T26 Grand Sport didn't just look pretty on the streets, it dominated the track too. It clinched victories at the 24 Hours of Le Mans and the Monaco Grand Prix. Talk about a car that could do it all. Number 5. The 1947 Kaiser Special. While the T26 Grand Sport was turning heads in Europe, something revolutionary was brewing across the Atlantic. Ever heard of a company that went from making steel to crafting Detroit's worst nightmare? Well, folks, that's exactly what happened with the 1947 Kaiser Special. After World War II, America was itching for something fresh on 4 wheels. Enter Henry J. Kaiser and Joseph W. Fraser, 2 businessmen with zero automotive experience but a whole lot of guts. Their brainchild, the Kaiser Special, hit the streets in 1947, and boy, did it make a splash. This wasn't your typical post-war car. The Kaiser Special sported a sleek, low-slung design that made other cars look like they were stuck in the past. And talk about roomy. The interior was so spacious you could practically host a dance party in there. It's no wonder the public and car critics alike were falling head over heels for this newcomer. But here's the kicker. The Kaiser Special wasn't just a pretty face. It packed some serious innovation under the hood. The folks at Kaiser Frazer were dead set on quality and style, and it showed. They weren't just building cars, they were crafting rolling symbols of America's bright future. Number 4. The 1948 Davis Deant. Just when you thought the world of 1940s automobiles couldn't get any wilder, along came a car that made everything else look downright ordinary. Picture this: a sleek aluminum body that looks like it fell straight out of the sky, perched on, wait for it, 3 wheels. That's right, folks. The 1948 Davis Deant wasn't just thinking outside the box, it was redesigning the box entirely. This automotive oddball was the brainchild of used car salesman turned inventor Gary Davis. He claimed his creation could seat 4 adults abreast, turn on a dime, and was as safe as a park bench. But let's be real, when's the last time you saw a park bench cruising down the highway at 65 miles per hour? The Devant's aircraft-inspired body wasn't just for show. Its aerodynamic shape and lightweight construction meant it could zip along using a modest 47 horsepower engine. And get this, it had a built-in jacking system that could lift any wheel off the ground for easy tire changes. Talk about convenience! But the real showstopper was its suspension. The Deant used an innovative system where the single front wheel did all the steering and absorbed most of the bumps. This setup gave it handling that was supposedly smoother than a 4-wheeled car. We're talking turns so tight you could practically pivot on a dime. Now, you might be wondering why we're not all driving these 3-wheeled wonders today. Well, that's where things get a bit messy. Gary Davis had big dreams and even bigger promises. He claimed he could produce 50 cars a day and had thousands of dealerships lined up. Turns out, that was about as true as saying your dog ate your homework. Number 3. The 1949 Saab 92. Ever wondered what happens when airplane engineers decide to build a car? Well, buckle up, because the story of Saab's first automobile is about to take us on a wild ride through the clouds of innovation. Back in 1949, Saab, a company known for its fighter planes, decided to land in the automotive world with the Saab 92. And let me tell you, this wasn't just any old car. It was like nothing anyone had ever seen before. Picture this, a car that looks like it could take off at any moment, with a body so sleek it might as well have wings. That's the Saab 92 for you. These clever folks at Saab took everything they knew about making planes zoom through the sky and applied it to a vehicle that would zoom down the streets. Talk about thinking outside the box. Now, you might be wondering what made this car so special. Well, hold on to your hats, because the Saab 92 was chock full of features that were way ahead of their time. For starters, they slapped the engine in the front and made it front-wheel drive. That might not sound like a big deal now, but back then, it was pretty revolutionary stuff. This setup gave the car some seriously impressive handling and stability, perfect for those winding Scandinavian roads. But the innovation didn't stop there. The Saab 92 was like a rolling science experiment, packed with all sorts of clever ideas borrowed from the world of aviation. Its body was as aerodynamic as they come, slicing through the air like a hot knife through butter. And when it came to safety, well, let's just say Saab wasn't messing around. They took the better safe than sorry approach way before it was cool. Number 2. The 1948 Cisitalia 202 Coupe. Speaking of aerodynamics, what if I told you there's a car from 1948 so beautiful it's literally considered a work of art? Feast your eyes on the Cisitalia 202 Coupe, a machine that blurs the line between automobile and masterpiece. This Italian beauty wasn't just a pretty face, though. The 202 Coupe packed some serious brains under its stunning exterior. Its groundbreaking envelope body design was a game changer, wrapping the entire car in one smooth, uninterrupted surface. No more separate fenders or running boards. This was a whole new way of thinking about car design. But the 202 wasn't just about looks. It had a racing pedigree that would make any gearhead drool. Pininfarina, the legendary Italian designer, crafted this beauty to be as slippery as possible, helping it slice through the air on the racetrack. And boy, did it perform. The 202 scored a 1-2 victory in its class at the 1948 Mille Miglia, proving it had the go to match its show. The influence of the 202 Coupe on automotive design can't be overstated. For decades after its debut, you could see echoes of its sleek, flowing lines in cars from all over the world. It set the standard for what a modern car should look like. inspiring designers to think beyond the boxy shapes of the past. Number 1. The 1949 Dela 175S Roadster. Just when you thought cars couldn't get any more beautiful, along comes a French masterpiece that'll make your heart race. The 1949 Dela 175S Roadster isn't just a car, it's a rolling work of art that could give today's supercars a run for their money. But don't let its elegant curves fool you. This beauty has a wild side that'll knock your socks off. Picture this, a car so stunning it makes heads turn faster than a spinning top. The 175S Roadster was the crown jewel of French automotive design, with coachwork that looked like it was sculpted by Michelangelo himself. Each one was custom-built by legendary French designers, resulting in unique masterpieces that were as individual as fingerprints. But here's where things get really interesting. Under that gorgeous exterior lurked a beast of an engine. The 175S packed a 4.5-liter inline-six that could pump out a whopping 165 horsepower. That might not sound like much today, but back in 1949, it was enough to leave most other cars in the dust. The 175S wasn't just about looks and speed, though. It represented the pinnacle of French automotive art, blending cutting-edge technology with unparalleled craftsmanship. Each car was a testament to the skill and passion of its creators, from the hand-stitched leather interiors to the meticulously polished chrome details. Ever wonder how those sleek rides from the 1940s still manage to turn heads today? It's no accident. These automotive marvels weren't just eye candy. They were the blueprint for the future of car design. From aerodynamic curves to safety features we now take for granted, these beauties were light years ahead of their time. But here's the kicker. Appreciating these classics isn't just about admiring them from afar. Why not dive deeper into this fascinating slice of automotive history? Picture yourself at a classic car show, running your fingers along the smooth lines of a vintage beauty. Or imagine swapping stories with fellow enthusiasts in online forums. It's not just about the cars, it's about keeping a piece of history alive. So next time you see a modern car zipping down the street, take a moment to think about its great-grandparents from the 1940s. They might just surprise you with how much they've influenced the rides we love today.